Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sketches Inc. TV, our best attempt at a YouTube series shot at our custom paint shop in Ottawa, Ontario. This week we have another awesome project to share with you, a Harley-Davidson dyno with a very interesting color choice. So let's get into it. From when the customer brought us in the bike, the parts were in pretty rough shape. There was a bunch of dents and scratches in the fenders and the tanks, so we had to address those first. So we have to actually sand down the areas around the damage. That way, when we put body filler on, it's going to stick. So depending on the damage, there's a few different ways that you can address damage in the tanks and fenders. First, if it's on the fender, we can actually use a hammer to push out the dent to smooth it out before we add body filler. Essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the surface completely smooth so that when we put body filler on and a primer, it'll look completely smooth. We're blocking the fender right now to basically make sure it has the same shape as the other side. You don't want any flat spots, high or low. So you basically want to, the end goal is basically to make it look as if it was never there. So after some sanding and a lot of patience, we can clean the parts up and take them into the booth to spray some primer. So the whole purpose of primer is so that when you put the paint down on your surface, it's going to stick. What the primer does is it adds a bonding layer between your base substrate, which in this case is going to be metal, and your paint. So with this project, it's a little bit different than some of our previous. This is actually going to be a tri-coat paint color. What that means is there's actually a base coat color and then a top coat color. When you guys see the finished product, you'll see how deep it is, and this is what causes that. The difference between a regular base coat and a tri-coat, a regular base coat has all the pigments in one, basically, sprayable color. With a tri-coat, there's actually two. So you're getting a lot of depth, so when you see it with clear coat, it actually looks a lot deeper than just a regular single stage paint. So after the base coat and the mid coat are sprayed and cured, we're going to put some clear coat on to seal it all in. So when the customer came in to bring us this project, one of his requests was that we put a classic Harley-Davidson logo on the side. So in order to do that, we have to sand down all the clear in order for the next coat of paint to stick. Okay, so now that all the surfaces are ready for the paint, I had to do some measurements and lay down the die-cut stencils that we had especially made for this project. the stencils are down, I'm going to mask off the entire tank. The reason I do this is because I don't want any white paint on the rest of the tank that we just finished. Once that's all done, I have to wait for the perfect time in order to take the stencils off. If you take it off too soon, you're going to get a jagged edge. If you wait too long, the paint's going to crack. Now that we're all finished painting the Harley-Davidson logo, I'm going to put another coat of clear down in order to seal everything up. We're going to sand down the tank in order to get it ready for airbrushing. Alright, now it's time to add a little bit of a drop shadow underneath the Harley-Davidson logo. Alright, to get started on this project, I had to place down a masking over top of the existing logo. The reason why I do this is because I don't want any airbrushing on the actual lettering part of the decor. Okay, so because we're doing a light source, we have to first imagine where the light source is coming from. So because the light source is coming from the top left, you want to put the shadow on the bottom right. Alright, so now that it's all done, I'm going to put it back in the booth for the final clear coat. That's all for this episode, folks. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope you're as excited as we are for next Friday's episode. Stay tuned and subscribe for trailers and previews for all new Sketches Inc. content, as well as special episodes, promos, and much, much more.